Okay, so welcome back to my channel, or just a regular welcome if you're new here. So in today's video, it's going to be college related, talking about applying to colleges, specifically HBCUs. I'm going to be talking about a website called the commonblackcollegeapp.com, where you can apply to multiple HBCUs all at once. And if you're interested in learning anything about that, just keep watching. Just to get this video started, I wanted to give a little bit of background about myself and the background about the college application process. So for me, my stats are, I'll have them listed in the description box. I have a 26 ACT, 1190 SAT, 3.75 GPA unweighted. Oh, and I took 3 APs. Yeah, so I think that's the general scope of everything that you should know. So the first step of the college process is, of course, choosing a college. And the way I narrowed that down, I was certain I wanted to choose an HBCU. So within that spectrum, I've narrowed it down from all these colleges to like 100 and something HBCUs there are now. So from those choices, I narrowed it down to 3 categories: size, location, and major. So the first thing, size, I am graduating with about 300 plus seniors. So I'm used to generally a little bit of the big class size, and I knew I didn't want to be anywhere with a tiny school with like only a few people in my class. That's just not the environment that I learn best in. But I definitely knew I wanted to go to one of the larger schools. So for size, I looked up a web, I think it was niche.com that I was looking at, size, and I came up with like Morgan State, Hampton, Tuskegee, Howard, Spelman, North Carolina A&T. Yeah, and at one point I was looking at Xavier in New Orleans. So that was the list that I compiled from the size. And it also checked in with my location list because I knew that most HBCUs are generally in the South, and I did not want to be too deep into the South, seeing as how I've lived here my whole life and want to go somewhere else. I also knew I wanted to be in a big city type area. I did not want to be like in the middle of nowhere. I wanted to be easy to go out and do things on the weekend. You know, big cities, they usually have a lot of things going on in the weekend versus if you live in like a little itty bitty place. Then it gets down to the point of major. What do you want to major in? Well, I want to major in communications, specifically like media and film and all that stuff. So from there, my choices dropped down really quickly to Howard, Spelman, Tuskegee, and North Carolina. Those are the 4 things that I narrowed it down to because I looked into their degree programs and I was like, okay, I can do this. I like the criteria. And if you're interested in Howard, I do have a few videos up. I'll link them in the iCard right there. So now that you got off what schools you want to go to, what you're looking for in a college, you move on to the application. So I use the commonblackcollegeapp.com. So if you're unfamiliar with that website, it is very, very similar to the regular Common app, except this one caters to 30 plus HBCUs, and you have to pay an application fee of $35 one time. And with that $35, you apply to all of those HBCUs on the website, every single one of them. So it really checks out to like what, like $1 per application or something like that. So just that one time $30 or $35, and it's super, super, super easy to do. So I'm going to show you guys. So once you log in, you're immediately taken to your dashboard. Now, if you don't have an account, you can always create an account, and they ask you just your general information. And it's going to show you all your updates. Right here on the main screen, you'll see who downloaded it. And then to your right, you can see your progress. And these little check marks, you can see when your application was submitted, when you did your application payment, is your application active, did you upload all your outstanding documents and all that stuff. But if you go back over here to the left, you can click on your application and it'll link you down, and you click on application. So your application details, it'll show you, your name, your address, but the most important part is your college preference information. It'll give you the opportunity to list 4 colleges, and those will be your colleges that they immediately send your application out into the world to. You get a chance to list your test scores over here and your extracurriculars, just regular stuff. If you want your counselor to upload stuff, it is, like I said, it's really similar to the regular Common app. They would just not log in, but they make an account. But this time, instead of making an account as a student, they make it as like a counselor, I think it says. And they just do it like regular, and they can upload your stuff. So then you get to modify your application, which I don't need to modify mine, but then you get your documents page. And like I said, this is for your transcripts and SAT scores. So I uploaded my a screenshot of my ACT because but they don't ask you to send it directly from ACT, which is, I mean, that's cool. You save your $15. Yeah, and then you skip down to status and it will list all the institutions, and you can see who viewed it, who downloaded, and who accessed what, and you can have the option to message them if you would like. Oh, and then here's your invoice page where you pay your application fee. So which is important because when you pay your application fee, that makes your application active. That way all the colleges can see it. If not, nobody's going to see it. You just fill out an application for nothing. But like I said, it breaks down to like $1 per application because there's 30 plus colleges on here and you pay a one-time $35 fee. And your top 4 colleges will immediately get your application. It'll upload to their server and they can proceed with their application process as however they see fit. But the most important thing about these colleges that although your application is active and it sends it to every HBCU on here, the key is that you have to check in and you have to call them or else they won't download it. Now your top 4 people, they will download it because it's going to show as a priority, but the rest of them you're gonna have to call. Now some HBCUs, some of them on this list, they're a little bit more on top of it and timely with their things, and they'll just go ahead and download it anyways. Anything they get from the Black Common App server, they just automatically download it, whether it was in your top 4 or not. Others, not so much. Like I've spent most of first semester on the phone just calling like, hey, I applied, can you download my application? I would really like to continue the application process, or just whatever kind of script you come up with to call these people. And they'll just, usually they're like, oh yeah, okay, what's your name and your zip code and stuff like that, and they'll type you in like, okay, we downloaded, we'll email you, and then like a week later you get your acceptance letter. But in order to do that, I made a list on Google Docs about each college and whether or not they downloaded my application. And you know, it is a HBCU, you know, we're run by people that look like us who aren't usually on top of things or timely, if you know what I mean. I made a list and it goes in alphabetical order, and I have the date, when I called, and what they told me. This is how I keep up. And sometimes you do get to run around with some of these people, but you know, what's new? You just gotta stay patient. It's pretty easy. It's not as much as a hassle as it sounds. And that's pretty much the gist of the whole website. It's very simple, very easy. Like I said, extremely similar to the regular Common App. And if you look, these are some of your HBCUs that are here. I will have this website linked down below. If you're interested in using it, I would recommend, because why not? It's super easy, $35. My application to Howard was $45 plus another $60 to apply to A&T because they're not on here. So that's like $100 already, but $35 and you get 30 plus school applications. That's a win-win to me. I'm just gonna go ahead and end the video here. I don't want it to get too long, and then in the next video I'll upload like the part 2 about the updates in the colleges and the results, the acceptances, and all that stuff. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any more questions, leave them down below and I will answer them. But until then, stay tuned for part 2.